Hello there, a very good evening to you. You're joining us here on News Tonight on GHOne TV. I'm Natalie. A look at our top stories. Reports by international news agency Reuters reveals Ghana has emerged as safe haven for Islamist militants allegedly from Burkina Faso. We have updates on this developing story. Also in tonight's broadcast, Domeabra residents in Savannah region protest over indefinite closure of basic school for renovation works on health facility. Also coming up, later on Election Hub, Agona West MPP boils as party suspends 3 constituency executives for supporting Cynthia Morrison. And ahead in business, farmers empowered with innovative tools to reduce post-harvest losses. We bring you these stories and much more news here on News Tonight's Tuesday. Well, let's get started with news tonight here on GHOne TV. Our bulletin streams live for a global audience on Facebook and X at GHOne TV. Top on the news this evening. According to a report by international news agency Reuters, Ghana has become a safe haven for Islamist militants allegedly from Burkina Faso. In a web article released by the news agency dated October 24, 2024, it was revealed that local communities in northern Ghana are discreetly used to sustain their insurgency. It is said that the Islamist militants stock up food, fuel, explosives, and treat injured fighters in hospitals in the country. At a conference held in Accra on 22nd November 2022 to discuss security in the West, President Akufo-Addo warned of rampant Islamist insurgency in the Sahel region, which could possibly engulf the region. But anonymous security and diplomatic sources say Ghanaian authorities are turning a blind eye to the militant group who are turning the country into their rear base. The approach, which is purportedly sparing the country from their deadly attacks, is said to have plagued nationals who are living close to their base. Boniface Gambila, Ghana's ambassador to Burkina Faso, told Reuters the militants were taking advantage of porous borders of Ghana. Meanwhile, Executive Director of the West Africa Center for Counter-Extremism, Mutaru Mumuni Mukhtar, while describing the phenomenon as worrying, believes that this should serve as a wake-up call for security in the sub-region to step up in collaboration.
To strengthen, the efforts that we'll be making in terms of protecting our borders and not, allowing or not, creating an environment that allows individuals across the border, extremist groups to get some time here. And the reason is it risks projecting Ghana as a nation that, creates an environment that is suitable for terrorist operations. And that does not help, that does not project Ghana positively. And we have to do everything to make sure that this is not a friendly space for extremist groups. What we need to do is to escalate our commitment to preventing and fighting terrorism more from a regional perspective, not just country-level engagement. We need to strengthen our alliance with Burkina Faso and the other coastal states to ensure that we'll put, a front that is strong, that is formidable enough to ensure that the terrorist, onslaught towards coastal states is broken. And that can comprehensively ensure that we do not have further escalation from where we are right now.
Well, let's stay on this issue and engage via Zoom with Mohammed Abdullahi. He's a freelance journalist, specifically in Nandom, joining us now. Mohammed, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us on News Tonight. First of all, kindly unmute yourself, and I want to find out from you, what exactly have you gathered within Nandom and in the region as it pertains to this insurgency?
Good evening to viewers. Following the publication that I just read, I made some inquiries to see what was really the issue. They said in northern Ghana, you have about the 5 regions in northern Ghana. We have the northern region, we have the Savannah region, we have Upper East, Northeast, Upper West, and then the Upper East region. So I made some inquiries and I found out that from Tumu in the Upper West region to the Upper East region, there are so many unapproved routes and then the porous borders. We have communities from like the Mognore in the Upper East region, the Polmakum, the Namu, Kulungugu, and the Paga areas, all in the Upper East region are the vulnerable areas. But when you come from the Savannah region, I am in the Upper West region, not to be specific, from the Savannah region, that is a Bole through to Hamele in the Upper West region, those areas are very tight and are constantly being monitored by the security personnel. So we don't have issues of these extremists flying around that area.
Right. Now, specifically, so you speak about the issue of unapproved routes. What have you observed within the community that could serve as evidence of the fact that this is actually the case? So from where I am in the Nandom, that is in the Nandom district, there are so many unapproved routes. As I said earlier, we have the military detachments in Laura, Nandom, and Hamele always patrolling the area. And then we also have the Operation Conquest Fist, where made up of the police and the immigration, and they have been patrolling around the area with the help of the security service officers from the Burkina Faso side of the country. They have always been collaborating with the people in there in Ghana. And also this operation, when you see something, you say something, and then the efforts of the community stakeholders have been very helpful in identifying any potential threat to the area. So both of these issues that have been discussed, we have that what I said earlier, from Tumu, which is in the Upper West region, all through to Upper East region, there are so many unapproved routes. So it's possibly that it is around that area that those things are possibly going to happen, but not from the Savannah region to the Upper West region where I am currently located. Right. Now, Mohammed, in rounding up, do clarify, is this military patrol a routine exercise or is it a more recent one?
No, it is a routine exercise. They've been here for the past 4 years. They've been moving around for the past 4 years, and then they've been doing really very well. And then they are visible too. It's not a routine exercise. It is something that has been ongoing for some time now.
Mohammed Abdullahi joining us from Nandom. Thank you for your time this evening. You're watching News Tonight. So let's turn to some other stories this evening. Residents of Domiabra in the central Gonja district of the Savannah region wants the Ghana Education Service and local authorities to urgently reopen their only primary school. The school was shut down indefinitely to allow for renovation works on a CHIPS compound, leaving children without access to education.
Domiabra, a community in the central Gonja district, is grappling with the indefinite closure of their primary school. The school, which serves children from kindergarten to basic 6, was shut down Monday, leaving pupils without a place to study. The shutdown came following an order from the paramount chief of the Makban traditional area, Makbanrua Achode Bronye I, for the planned renovation works on the town's CHIP compounds. The chief explained that for the renovation works to be successful, the teachers must vacate their bungalows for healthcare providers. However, some parents have expressed concerns over the situation and its impact on their wards.
Now, so far as the children are not going to school, all of us, our works are now slowed down. Because daybreak, we are in the roadside. The children will be crossing the road. So that's why we also call for the media to come and take this decision to the public. So that the paramount chief of Makban will also see to it that and consider his decision for the people of the Domiabra.
Tijani Imbonra has been at the forefront of the campaign to reopen the school. He wants the Ghana Education Service and other relevant stakeholders to intervene and restore academic activities.
What we want to do is this. We'll get a place for the nurses.
But this man said he will not take that decision. The only decision he will take is that the teachers should go home so that their quarters will be free and the nurses can come there and occupy that quarters. So now, it is assumed that what the teachers are doing, we don't appreciate it in the community. That is the implication. The school has been there since this clinic is not even up to 10 years of age. So that's why we said we will not accept that decision. Even though we tried persuading him, and he said no, it will not happen.
They hope that dialogue between local authorities, the chief, and the education service can resolve the situation quickly so that healthcare and education can continue without compromising the other.
This is just our first step. If the people who are supposed to intervene, if they fail to do their work, it will determine our next line of action. And in fact, it's not going to be easy for all of us. So they should try and convince Mankongwa to make sure the teachers will come back.
Until then, the community waits anxiously for the reopening of the school, knowing that every day out of the class is a setback for their children's future.
Well, let's stay on this a while longer and engage with Nubon Wura Kwamina Tijani. That's Kwabena Tijani, second secretary of the concerned members of Domeabra, who joins us via phone. Good evening to you. Thank you for your time this evening. Now, we understand that this is the only school within the community been closed down for the setting up of this CHIPS compound. Run us through specifically what the challenges are that you're facing in the community as a result of the closure of the school.
Thank you very much, and good evening to our viewers. In fact, for now, the community, we are all anticipating that things will change. So if it so happened that things did not change, then that one, in fact, our next line of action, I don't think it will be easy. Because for now, we are all expecting that the teachers will be back by Monday. So if by Monday we don't see the teachers in school, then we have to advise ourselves in the next line of action.
Right. Now, you say that you're waiting for things to change. Specifically, was it the directive of the chief of the community for the school to be closed? And what is the actual reason for the closure of the school?
For now, the actual reason for the closure of the school is that they are going to do a renovation at the clinic, so the community clinic. So the chief thinks that if only they are going to do the renovation there, then why don't the nurses move to the teachers' quarters to allow the renovation to take place? And the implication is that the school is going to be closed down automatically. And we think that this is unfair because every child has the right to education. So if you are taking this kind of decision, you are going to affect our children negatively. So that is why we said we will not agree to that particular decision. And now for the teachers to come back, we were told that it was the chief who made the call to the district director of education, asking them to close down the school. And he forced his decision on them. So we think that it's appropriate for the chief to go back to the district director of education, tell the district director of education that, look, what I did earlier was wrong. So let's try to correct our own wrongs. So he should call them and ask them to bring the teachers back. That is his duty because he caused it. But if he fails to do that, then that will not be fair.
So the real issue is that due to the renovation of this CHIPS compound, the nurses have taken up the lodging facilities, the quarters of the teachers. Now, is that the case? Is that to say that the teachers do not reside within the community, in the neighborhood, and that's why this had to be the case?
Yeah, for sure. The teachers, they are all strangers in the community. And based on this, even though we offered that we would look for an accommodation for the nurses, but which the chief declined. So now that he has given the teachers 500 Ghana cedis, according to him, that they should go home to their various destinations. When the renovation is done, then the nurses can now move to the facility to allow the teachers to come back, which is unfair. This is unfair. So we think that is not appropriate.
Concerned that the teachers might not return, given that they're coming from so far off?
Even if they will come back, but we think that Ghana Education Service is a different field altogether, and the health workers are also in a different field. So why do you say that health workers should rather move to teachers' quarters to allow innovation to take place at the health facility? In that case, we are saying that what the teachers are doing in the community, we don't appreciate it. And we think that the health workers are more important than the teachers.
which is unfair. I'm a teacher by profession, so I know what is in the teaching field, and I don't think that would be appropriate.
Right. So have you heard from the DCE as it pertains to this? What has he been saying?
For now, we have not received any information from the DCE.
Right. And you do not have any communication as per when this renovation is set to be completed?
Actually, they started today.
Right.
They started today. And as we speak, the nurses have also gone home. Because directives was given to them, the directives have been given to them that they have to go home to allow the renovation to take place. But the community said they will not allow them to enter, to go to the teachers' quarters. So if the community will not allow them to go to the teachers' quarters, then it means that it's appropriate for them to go home. And that's the decision now. Because their leaders are saying that they should go home. Because they are doing the renovation at the clinic, they are not doing the renovation at the education sector, where the teachers should be compelled to go home for the school to be closed down. So now the nurses have left, and the quarters is empty.
Well, very well. We'll certainly re-engage you subsequently on this issue as it develops. Nubon Wura Tijani joining us there, the secretary of the concerned members of Domeabra. And you may want to know that we engaged with the DCE to speak to this matter. However, we're told that he cannot speak on it currently as it stands. More on that issue subsequently here on GH1 TV. In other news this evening, the Ghana Health Service is partnering with the Ghana Education Service to deworm 2.6 million school-age children across the country from Monday, October 28 to November 3, 2024. The exercise will benefit children between the ages of 5 and 14 years in 13,000 schools. The mass school deworming exercise aims to eliminate soil-transmitted helminth infestations.
Ghana currently has an estimated schistosomiasis prevalence of 23.3%, with a localized prevalence level exceeding 50%. It is typically transmitted by contact with contaminated soil or water, and school-aged children are mostly at risk due to their underdeveloped immune systems. Additionally, children in schools and playgrounds are often in close contact, increasing the likelihood of transmission of intestinal worms.
School-based deworming is the most cost-effective approach that leverages existing school structures, with teachers trained to administer hermetic medicines to eligible children and also provide education. It is important for all children to eat before taking these medicines. I'm happy Director Chef said there's enough food available for everybody, as it helps in the absorption and effectiveness of the medication.
The exercise is expected to reach children between the ages of 5 and 14 and aims to provide them with treatment to ameliorate the effects of parasitic worm infestations.
Encourage all schools, both public and private, parents, regardless of their social status, gender, or religion, to cooperate and collaborate and support the deworming exercise in the targeted districts and schools to improve coverage and help eliminate parasitic infestations in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, this year the deworming exercise aims to treat 12,907 schools in 100 districts spread across 15 regions.
Schistosomiasis is caused by parasitic worms that live in fresh water. The symptoms of this disease include abdominal pain, diarrhea, and blood in urine and stool, among others. Female genital schistosomiasis is a severe consequence of schistosoma infestation that can occur in girls.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service and other partners, has put in place measures to improve access to healthcare, including equity, including quality development programs in schools and communities. The theme for this event is particularly relevant given the ongoing challenges we face in our country.
Now, the Deputy Director of Nursing Services at the Ministry of Health, Evelyn Amwako, has assured members of the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association of its resolve to get financial clearance for the payment of their outstanding allowances. This follows concerns raised by members of the association at its 2024 annual delegates conference of the Greater Accra Regional Chapter. GHOne News' Clara Yaira has more in this report.
Nursing students have voiced their concerns over unpaid allowances, an issue that has persisted for years. Those who began their rotation this year are yet to receive any allowances. The president of the Rotational Nurses and Midwives Association, Kwame Ameble Jr., called on the Ministry of Health to swiftly address issues of unpaid allowances.
About 20% of our members have been paid so far, though our financial clearance have been released from somewhere in July. And this has caused a lot of displeasures among our members. Most importantly is our junior colleagues who have started their national service in May this year. So we speak, they've also not received the financial clearance and no payments so far. They've been working 5 months without the allowance they deserve.
The issue of posting remains another key concern for the association. They further called on the government to clear a backlog of rotational nurses who are yet to receive posting after completing their mandatory national services with jobs.
We expect that immediately we complete, government should look into it. Immediately we are done with our service, government should look into it. You should try as much as possible to enroll us into the system. It's not easy sitting in the house. We have just come out fresh from our training. That kind of fresh thinking is there, fresh knowledge is there. So when he enrolls us immediately into the system, we will be able to cope up and we will be able to deliver our best. But if there is a delay, you said about 2 years, 3 years, a year, in fact, we become so relaxed.
However, reacting to these concerns, Deputy Director of Nursing Services at the Ministry of Health, Evelyn Amoakon, assured rotational nurses that the issue of unpaid allowances will be addressed. According to her, the ministry is working closely with other sector bodies to ensure payments are made.
The ministry is continuing work with relevant stakeholders, engagement with relevant stakeholders. It doesn't fall on yesterday when I was informed that I was scheduled to come here. I engaged because I knew that definitely this was something that was going to come up. And so I engaged with the people in charge and they informed me that disbursements are ongoing. We're going to continue engagement.
Meanwhile, members of the association have been encouraged to stay abreast with current issues, especially those related to health, for effective and efficient work output.
We bring you more news shortly here on News Tonight Tuesday. Well, it's 43 days, the 2024 general elections. We take some election-related stories next. On Election Hub this evening, the supervising High Court judge in the Central Region, Justice Kofi Akrowia, has hinted of the court's readiness to receive any post-election petition from any political party should one wish to challenge results.
At the peace stakeholder engagement, Justice Kofi Akrowia assured Ghanaians that the court will not hesitate to deal with any post-electoral grievances judiciously, further reminding the populace to renew their faith in the law courts. According to the supervising High Court judge, the court will not entertain any adjournments that will drag justice delivery.
Either the prosecution or the accused, since the safe field of justice grinds slowly, we must always ensure that we go according to the rules. So when a party comes to court and say that for any reason, for any good reason, we are seeking adjournment, the judge will look at it and see if it is reasonable. He may accede to grant the adjournment 1 or 2 instances. I will ensure that if it is frivolous, he will not undertake the adjournment and proceed with the case. Especially with the election petition in respect of parliamentary seats or parliamentary candidates and the presidential one. In fact, with the presidential one, we rather the 2016 one took a long time. So the Chief Justice came out that the presidential petition will have to be heard within a very short time. And we all saw what happened in 2020, that the justices took very short time to decide on the petition.
A member of the governing board of the National Peace Council, Reverend Colonel Kwame Otu, during the National Stakeholders Dialogue to Promote Peaceful Elections 2024 in Cape Coast, called for peace before, during and after the elections.
Because of the oncoming elections, we and the UN thought of bringing together stakeholders to think through, to discuss, to exchange ideas, and to facilitate so that people's mind will stay on peace. We want an election in which there will be peace and no violence, no destruction of people's lives and property.
He then appealed to Ghanaians to have confidence in the Electoral Commission and accept the outcome of the elections.
As far as I am concerned, the EC is appointed by a constitutional provision of Ghana. So today I heard people asking questions about things which borders on constitutional mandate, in which you cannot sit here and change it unless with time we ourselves Ghanaians we get to know that it's time to make amendments. As at now, what we have is what we must use. The president has appointed a EC. She has a mandate to oversee the elections of this country. She has her staff, and the staff do not work alone.
The Central Region Secretary of the Ghana Journalists Association, Yao Boy, also called on the media to do thorough fact check before reporting on any election-related issues. He also assures that the GJA will train its members on election reportage.
One of the keys of our reporting is accuracy, objectivity, and impartiality. So when we go to the field, we are supposed to be impartial. Whatever we saw, we see on the way, or that's exactly what we should see. Because, for instance, if I am reporting and there's disagreement, and quote, and I'm reporting in G, disagreement, some will say is akasakasa, somebody will say basabasa. When you talk about basabasa, you are using a word that will actually cause panic, and people will rise up to attack the ones that you think are engaged in that, or they will move and mass up at the polling station. So we should also be mindful of the kind of language that we use in election reportage.
The Central Regional leadership of the governing MPP have suspended 3 persons in the Agona West constituency for allegedly supporting the independent candidature of MP for the area, Cynthia Mamile Morrison. The incumbent MP has declared her intentions to contest as an independent candidate in the December polls. But the 3 persons, including the first vice chairman, communications director, and women's organizer of the party, are said to have defied an order to distance themselves from her, hence the decision to suspend them by the party. A letter written to the suspended officers accused them of contravening Article 3, Section 7, Subsection 1 of the party's constitution. Well, let's now speak to the Chief Executive of the Central Gonja District, Salia Kamara, who's joined us for a conversation on this development. Now, that's with relation to our earlier story regarding the health-related story and the CHIPS compounds. But let's move away from that, because that's not who we ought to be engaging with concerning this. Hello, good evening to you. And we're joined by a member of the Central Regional leadership of the governing MPP. Now, understand that these persons have been suspended by the party as a result of their support for Cynthia Morrison. Now, first of all, was there any formal process by which these persons communicated their intention to support her? Richard, I'm asking if there was initially any formal process these persons engaged with, declaring their intention to support her in her quest to go independent. Now, it appears we're having a bit of trouble engaging with Richard. They're joining us as member of the Central Regional leadership of the governing MPP on the suspension of these 3 persons within the party who were said to have supported Cynthia Morrison on her quest to go independent. And we understand that these officers have been said to have contravened Article 3, Section 7, Subsection 1 of the party's constitution, as it's been made clear by Cynthia Morrison that she is intending on going independent within that constituency. We'll certainly bring you more on this subsequently and the impacts of this suspension. In other news this evening, Deputy National Youth Organizer of the Opposition National Democratic Congress, NDC, Osman Abdullahi Ayariga, has accused the governing MPP of hastily commissioning unfinished Agenda 111 hospital projects across the country. He described this move as a vote-buying scheme by the MPP ahead of the December 7 general election, adding that the NDC will resist such tactics. Osman Ayariga made these remarks during a Campus Connect engagement with students of the Drapa Nursing Training College in the Upper West region.
Is a government of scammers. And we are told in the coming days, because the government is so desperate that they are continuing to promise, they plan on commissioning some of their uncompleted Agenda 111 projects. So even though the facilities are not completed, you will see Baumia going to commission uncompleted hospitals. This is how desperate this government and Baumia is. And we are warning them that anywhere they commission any uncompleted hospital, we as the youth will go and decommission all the commissioned uncompleted hospitals. Because we can only receive twice. We were in this country when they gave flight pass. One district, one constituency, one village, today, the ministers, the women, their wives, their scientists are lying on money, and we are so happy. Never again will we make that mistake.
Founder of the Royal Sanctuary Mission in Sugakope, Apostle Mensa Jomeku, has showered praises on MPP flag bearer Dr. Bawumia for what he says is his integrity. According to the man of God, no one has been able to tag the MPP flag bearer with any act of corruption, and that he has been diligent with whatever he has put his mind to achieve. He was speaking at a stakeholders engagement in Sugakope as part of Dr. Bawumia's campaign in the Volta region.
Observe your integrity. There is nobody who can lay a claim that since you came to public light, there is something corrupt about your life. May God bless you for that. Your loyalty to a cause is incontrovertible. Just recently, your boss, the president of Ghana, acclaimed it that you have been very loyal. If your boss can acclaim it, then nobody can say you are not loyal. Your diligence to duty, we have seen it. We can all attest to it, that whatever you purpose to do, you are diligent about it.
We'll certainly bring you much more comprehensive stories ahead of election 2024 right here on your Election Hub in subsequent bulletins. on News Tonight, we bring you business news. Over 11,500 smallholder farmers across 5 selected regions have been introduced to multi-crop threshers to help reduce post-harvest grain losses within their communities. The 4-year Research for Development, Innovation, Agriculture and Learning, tagged the REDAL project, is aimed at replacing labor-intensive manual threshing, which often involves child labor and results in poor quality output.
Project focuses on providing innovative agricultural solutions to smallholder grain and cereal farmers, particularly marginalized communities in Ghana's key food producing zones in the Ashanti, Northern, Western and Eastern regions. Co-funded by the European Union under the Desire Initiative, the project has enabled marginalized farmers to identify suitable crops for their soils and adopt indigenous climate-smart soil enrichment practices where specific nutrients are lacking. Head of Cooperation for EU Delegations to Ghana, Maximo Mina, highlighted how the project has empowered smallholder farmers by enhancing their knowledge of modern farming technologies.
How to introduce innovative technologies, because this can benefit not only the smallholder farmers who are the primary but also help the grain transition in the country. So this is a way to safeguard the environment, the natural resources, the whole ecosystem, and we know how precious it is.
The Monitoring and Evaluation Officer at the Friends of the Nations, Faustina Kaur, noted that expanding the project is essential to helping farmers continue to improve crop quality and yields.
The benefits of our project are evident. The findings are clear. It's the technologies and innovations we have introduced are helping resolve farmers' problems, is improving farmers' production, is improving farmers' yield and farmers' income. So yes, scaling up to other regions is crucial. It will be beneficial to all farmers. Our beneficiaries, even communities nearby, want the project to come to their community.
A project beneficiary, Ashetu Salifu, shared how the REDAL project has improved farming in their communities, particularly for persons with disability.
And at the same time, we also use manpower, like cultivating the maize in the south and others. So during that time, a REDAL project has come in to introduce the threshing machine for us, which makes our work easier. If every this project has helped us a lot, especially with persons with disability.
The REDAL project was implemented by a consortium of 5 partners, namely Friends of the Nations, Tropimbos Ghana, KNUST, SESI Technologies and SHATEC.
Away from agriculture, let's turn to the technological sector as cybersecurity experts are advocating for a collaborative effort among stakeholder agencies to address the rising threat of online scams. As the digital landscape becomes increasingly complex, unsuspecting users of online services have become more vulnerable, highlighting the urgent need for greater awareness initiatives.
As Ghana swiftly embraces digitalization, vulnerabilities in cyberspace has become a significant threat. The 2023 Ghana FinTech reports indicates that cyber fraud, including credit card identity and romance fraud, is the country's most common cybercrime, with the financial sector as a primary target. The menace cost Ghana an estimated 4.3 million Ghana cedis in 2022, a 65% increase from the previous years. Alarmingly, losses escalated to 4.9 million Ghana cedis in just the first 9 months of the year 2024.
Data from Statista, the FBI and IMF indicates that the global cost of cybercrime is set to jump from $8.44 trillion in 2022 to $23.84 trillion by 2027. Between January and September this year, 44% of the total incidents reported involved online fraud. 19% were related to unauthorized access. 15% involved online blackmail, 8% were cases of cyberbullying. These incidents were recorded through the cybersecurity incident reporting points of contact, with total.
Speaking during an interview on the sidelines of the event, Chief Executive of SmartThink Global Technology, Samson Ntiamwa, advised end users to adopt basic security measures, especially on social media, to help combat cyber crimes.
Human beings are the weakest link to cyber threat, so we all need to know some of the measures and policies and the procedure that we need to have in place to ensure that we are protected from the usage of our mobile phones, laptops, our social media platforms. Once we have the awareness that these are the possible threats that can occur with the usage of our social media account and our mobile phones, we'll be able to know the measures to protect it.
The Awareness Forum brought together experts in the cybersecurity space to discuss strategies to combat misinformation and disinformation in a digitally resilient democracy.
That's all the business news we've got for you this evening. Next is sports news. In sports tonight, Asante Kotoko's head coach, Dr. Prosper Nate Ogum, says the team is focused ahead of their clash with new entrants Holy Stars, despite the challenge of playing on an AstroTurf. Kotoko goes into the game undefeated and occupying the second spot on the league table. Speaking ahead of the game, Dr. Ogum said his side is very ready.
It's a big game because it's a venue that has history with respect to good football in the Ghana Premier League. When Karela was there, they were actually a big thorn in the flesh of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And this time around is Baseke Holy Stars, which is another very good team from Nzumaland. I've been able to watch a few of their games, and I think they are a very good side. They have that desire to play, that commitment to play is there, so it makes the game a very interesting one. We just have to make up our mind that whether the turf is in good shape or it's not in good shape. We are going there to play well and then get the results. That's all that we have to do mentally. Once mentally we tune ourselves to that level, I'm sure we'll be able to perform and get the results.
Now, on the international front, Real Madrid will host Barcelona in the biggest game this weekend in what is termed El Clasico at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium in Madrid on Saturday.
Barcelona are October 26th at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. Barcelona currently sits top at the La Liga table with 27 points, 3 points ahead of Real Madrid. Real Madrid, despite being unbeaten in La Liga this season, has had some unconvincing performances. They will be looking to capitalize on their recent successes, including a thrilling 5-2 comeback win against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. However, they've suffered significant injury blows, with Thibaut Courtois and Rodrigo ruled out for 2 to 3 weeks. Barcelona, on the other hand, has been on fire, winning 9 of their 10 league games. This El Clasico promises to be an electrifying encounter, with both teams eager to assert their dominance. With Rafinha replying fellow Brazilian Vinicius Jr. with a hat-trick in the Champions League during midweek, the stage looks set for a thrilling, entertaining encounter. Who do you think will come out top in this epic showdown?
That is all the sports news for you this evening, and that's also how we draw the curtains on News Tonight. Now, we here at GHOne TV, Star FM and EIB Network are crowning Pink October with the diplomatic games taking place at American International School Sports Complex tomorrow at 8 a.m. You certainly wouldn't want to miss this, so do join us. Thank you for watching News Tonight this evening. I'm Natalie Fort. Have a good evening.